Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bag Collection podcast. My guest today is Kelly Collins Lintz. She's worked on TV shows and movies such as We Are the Millers, The Mist, and One Tree Hill, etc. And her kids are also well known for working on shows like The Walking Dead, Bosch, and Under the Dome. I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and share. Thanks, guys.
Hello.
Oh, I thought I logged out because I was like, you know what? I better go to the bathroom really quick.
You're fine.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh my gosh, you're beautiful. Your skin is like flawless.
Thank you. Well, I just broke out here a little bit, so I was like, oh no, because I'm like, when I was in high school, I had pretty bad like skin, like my acne was really bad on my cheeks, and then I just started cutting dairy out like within the last couple years, and it has helped my body and my skin so much.
Dang. Love that. Look at your wall behind you.
Yep.
I love it.
On Central.
Have we met in person, Bryn?
No, I met Matt in Cleveland.
Okay.
So, Mark, your husband was there, Mark. I haven't met you yet, though. No.
Okay. Well, like we meet so many people that sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, so nice to meet you. And they're like, we met in Nashville. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Believe me, now it happens. Because, like, there's times where, like, I've gone up to people who I've met multiple times before, and I just ask out of curiosity if they remember my face or anything. And then I kind of feel bad that I put them on the spot. Because I don't want them to feel, like, obligated to. Like, you guys do those all the time. So,
yeah.
You've met thousands, so I don't blame you at all.
That's a lot of people. I mean, and I don't even meet everybody. I'm just kind of there sometimes, hanging out.
Right.
Anyway, awesome. So you just graduated college?
Yeah, I went to acting school. I went to New York. It's called the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. I finished May 24th. So it was only a 2-year program. So yeah, I just finished. And thank you.
Welcome to the most unstable career you could possibly pick.
Yep.
I'm kidding.
Well, yeah, I mean, I knew from a young age I've been wanting to do this, and my parents have always been super supportive, thank God, because I know this is definitely a hard career, and no matter what age, like, to have support behind you and get the information that you need to know what's going on, it's important, because this is a very hard career. So
yeah, for sure. It is. And there's a lot of benefits, but there are also many gut punches and fetal positions, as I like to say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so you got my questions. So I figured we could just jump right in.
Okay, go for it, sister.
Awesome. So, like I said for the first question, you worked with cast members from The Walking Dead, now on The Mist, which I love. I love Stephen King and all of his films, so I was like, this is so cool to see this. And then they ended up working with Maddie. So what was it like to work on that film? And then what was it like to find out that they would end up be working with Madison?
Well, my family has a strange connection with Stephen King, actually, because not only did I do The Mist, but he also produced a show called Under the Dome that my daughter Mackenzie starred in.
I loved that show too.
Yeah, and then Matt was very close to playing the lead little boy in Dark Tower. He screen tested for that role.
Wow.
So I'm like, what is up with Stephen King here? And what's really weird, here, I'll even go even further. When I was in 8th grade, I read a book called Skeleton Crew, which is a Stephen King book that had The Mist in it. It's because it was a novella in that book. And when I got the audition for The Mist, I read it and I was like, I know what this is. I think I've read this story before. And I went back and looked, and sure enough, I was like, oh, wow, if you would have told me when I was in 8th grade reading that book that someday I would be in that movie, I would like have fallen over. While I was shooting The Mist, I was reading a book that had just come out that Stephen King did called Under the Dome.
That is so weird.
And then while Mackenzie was shooting Under the Dome, I was like, I should read more Stephen King. Let me go read the Dark Tower series, which was amazing. So when Matt got the screen test for Dark Tower, I was like, it's a given. I mean,
right.
Whatever book I read, we do. But then he broke the streak, so, you know. But anyway, that was a great project to work on, and Frank Darabont was a wonderful director, and I didn't work on that project for very long. I just had a few days on it, but I remember little Nathan Gamble being just like a doll and a half, and then Matt started when he was about Nathan's age too. Actually, he started younger, and reminded me a lot of Nathan Gamble as he started working as a 6, 7, 8-year-old kid. And I knew Melissa McBride from before because she's from Atlanta, so I already knew Melissa. And a lot of people don't know this, but when The Walking Dead came around, everybody in my family auditioned for that. I think I auditioned to play Lori. Wow. Matt auditioned to play Carl, and Madison auditioned to play Sophia. And we didn't know anything about the project. We didn't know anything about the comic books. That kind of wasn't our scene. But when I saw that Frank was directing and producing, I was like, ooh, we might. I was thinking I might have a shot at it because I had just worked with him, and I knew he liked to use people over and over again. So the joke in my house is, he was like, since I'm going to cast pretty much everyone else in The Mist in this project except for you, we'll give you a consolation prize and cast your daughter. But he did actually, I did hear later that he watched her tape and was like, that has to be Kelly's daughter. And she did look just like the comic book character, like identical.
Yeah.
So, and it was a good audition. So that's how that happened. And then, it was kind of a little mini reunion of sorts.
That's so cool. How like all of that twisted in together. And it's so weird how you were reading the books, like in between projects and things like that were happening. That's like, I would be like, oh my gosh.
Weird things happen to me like that all the time. Like I'm a big believer that there are no accidents.
Right.
And, so strange little nudges happen like that to me quite a bit. So
that's so cool. Wow. So I recall seeing you in We're the Millers, and that's probably one of my favorite comedies ever. That is so funny. You were, I'm not sure how close you were with like working with Jennifer Aniston and that, like all them, like a lot besides on set and everything when they were filming, cameras were rolling and such. So what was it like to work with them and just like with the whole entire cast itself?
Well, to be honest, like a lot of people don't realize this. Like if I've made my career pretty much playing smaller roles on larger projects. And I chose to stay in the Southeastern region and do that because I thought I would have a better shot at actually working if I kind of was a little bit of a bigger fish in a smaller pond. And that's worked out really well for me. But when you do like a television series or a movie, if you don't share scenes with people, it's very possible that you never actually meet them at all. So I never met Jennifer Aniston at all. I worked with Jason Sudeikis and Will Poulter. And Will was a great kid, just a great guy. And we had a chat because, listen to me, I'm British all of a sudden. We had a chat. He was in the Chronicles of Narnia series.
Right.
And my kids loved that. And so he was just super, super nice. And but I really didn't work with that whole cast. I was in and out in a day or two, and that was it. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I mean, I did a feature film last year, and so I worked with everybody because I did like background work, and then I was working with the director. Yeah, so I was running around doing like tons of different things because it was a smaller project. So we had a lot of extras, but like a smaller crew. So I was doing all of that. So it obviously is, yeah, definitely different from like an actual like bigger set like
but
that.
Even when I did like series work, like when I was on One Tree Hill, there were cast members that I didn't meet for months. Like I don't think I met Chad Michael Murray for 2 or 3 months because I didn't have scenes with him.
Right.
So
Okay.
You work on completely different days, and so it's not always quite the tight knit little family that you think that it is.
Okay. Awesome.
Even with Walking Dead, like there were cast members that were in the same season, not so much in seasons 1 and 2 when Maddie was there, but later on that you just like never met. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, like we've already talked about and you've mentioned, you've done tons of different television shows and films. So which one out of all of them was your favorite role and why?
I really enjoyed working with Jennifer Garner in Miracles from Heaven. And I think I had finally come to a place as an actress where I was confident in myself and in the work I was doing. And I was working very closely with an A-list actress. And it wasn't so much that I loved that role as much as that experience on that particular movie was sort of I have done what I've set out to do. Nice. And here I am, and I did it. And so I think I remember, and also she's delightful, and she was really in the thick of a lot of things when we shot that movie. And so I was expecting her to be very closed off and to herself, as I would have been in her shoes. And she was the exact opposite of that. So, there's been plenty of people we've worked with that I cannot say that about.
I'm sure, yeah.
She is probably on the top of my female list of just really nice people, and the top of the male list would be Peter Dinklage.
Okay.
Who was just wonderful. Matt worked with him on Pixels. And
right.
Just the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet, and humble. Like we worked with him on the day he got nominated for his first Emmy for Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
We were like, Peter, oh my gosh, amazing. And he's like, well, I don't have a chance in hell of winning because it was the last season of Breaking Bad and he knew Bryan Cranston was going to get it. But he's like, but my wife will get to dress up in a really pretty dress. I was like, well, you're adorable.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Because you don't really get to do that a lot, like work with people and they get that opportunity. So it's like you get to experience it with them.
Sure. So, yeah. Yep. Everybody gave him a big round of applause. It was nice.
Well, and then another thing that just popped in my brain, when I went to Cleveland and we were talking with Mark and Matt, we saw the picture when Matt was really little and he had that little part on Rob Zombie's Halloween. And when I realized that was him, I was like, I can't believe he was that little, like, dude, like on that film. So, I mean, was that something where it was like a couple days and then he was done, or like a day or so?
One night.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Because it was a short snippet, but you know, like some directors are just like, they want to take a couple days and get those, but that's so cool.
He was in and out.
I love Rob.
That was Matt's first movie.
Really?
Yep.
That is so cool. Yeah, like I said, I love Rob. I want to work with him one day. He's one of my favorites because I'm a big horror fan too.
Okay.
So I love his films. Yeah. So I was like, wow, that's so cool that he was able to do that.
Yep. It's pretty amazing.
Yep. So you post a lot about Plexus now on your Instagram, which I've been following a lot of. So for those who don't really know what it is, and I'm still kind of learning some stuff too as you post. So what is Plexus?
Plexus is basically a health and wellness company that makes products that keep us from feeling fat, depressed, and tired is the way that I like to put it.
Right.
I ran across it 4 years ago when a very good friend of mine named Lori Beth, and she and I, she's a fellow actress. She and I played sisters on a show for NBC called Surface about 15 years ago. Wow. And she actually has played Matt's mom in a movie as well. She beat me out to play my own son's mother, and somehow we're still best friends. I don't know how that happened, but there you go. And she posted that she'd been able to get off of her anxiety meds by getting her gut healthy with these products. And I was like, what is this? Is it legal? And because at the time I was struggling with, I just want to say a general sense of blah. Like my life looked great on paper. I have a great husband. I have 4 great kids. We were all working in an industry that we loved. And it was really right around the time when I just told you that I was working with Jennifer Garner. And I was like, I am doing everything that I set out to do with my life. Why don't I feel the emotion of happiness? What is going on? So I tried to fix the problem up here, like with gratitude lists and prayer and even cut out alcohol completely. That's how serious I was. And nothing really seemed to do the trick. And she explained to me the gut-brain connection and how your gut is your second brain. And if it's not healthy, it's not gonna, which most Americans' gut is not healthy because our food supply is killing us, to be honest.
Yeah.
You're not gonna feel as good as you could on the inside, and you won't look as good as you could on the out. And I was like, what? This sounds like voodoo. But I was really desperate, so I tried it, and it, within 3 weeks, I felt a lift in my mood, and within 3 months, I was a different person. And so I was like, this stuff is great. So I started sharing it with others because so many moms I knew felt the way I did. Like, we had a great life, great kids. Why do we not want to get out of bed in the morning?
Yeah.
Why are we exhausted all the time? And so that turned into a side business, which was actually another solution for me as an actor because, and I'll give you this as a piece of advice as a young actress. Only 6% of all actors actually make a viable income with this industry.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And like most actors do other things. They have other streams of income. And so I had about 7 at the time. I was acting. I was managing my own child actors, which was like a full-time job. I was coaching child actors, doing voiceover work, voicing audiobooks, doing all kinds of stuff. And this compensation plan with this company was off the chain. And so I started, just because I was sharing it with people that I loved, that I wanted to feel better, I started making really good money. And it's interesting because I've been doing it for 4 years now, I guess. And last year I worked more as an actress than I've ever worked before in a year period. Wow. And I think it's because I'm so financially secure with my Plexus income that I wasn't like desperate, like, I need you to give me this job, please. I was just like, give it to me, don't give it to me. I don't care. I'm making a 6-figure income, chica. So,
great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dave Ramsey, if you know who he is, he's a financial guru. He does say that the wisest thing you can do is have 2 or 3 streams of income, and one of them should be passive. And that's what Plexus has been for me. And it revolutionized my health, but it also revolutionized my bank account. And I think that's just as valuable. So
seriously, yeah, that's crazy. Like how it went from there, and then look where you are now. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it was another one of those God nudges, Bryn, because at the beginning of this, when I found out it was a network marketing company, I had a lot of misconceptions about it because, first of all, I had never seen that work for anybody. I never saw anybody actually make any money with a network marketing company. And if they did, I didn't want to do what they had to do.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to tell you, I was violently opposed to any kind of opportunity like that. But people in my neighborhood, like my mom, my husband, my neighbors were all like, what happened to you? You're smaller, and also you're nice now. And I was like, I don't know. I think it's this stuff. I just feel so much better. And they're like, well, where's the stuff? We want the stuff. And I'm like, you get it. Oh no. So I'm like, hang on a second. Join Plexus. How can I be of service? And that's how it started. And then I got a paycheck and I fell over. I was like, I think I accidentally embezzled from this company. And it started as an accident. And then I realized I'd not only been praying for an answer to my health problems, but I had been praying for an answer to our financial instability. Because here's the other problem, getting back to our main topic of Hollywood. The more successful my children got and the more money they made, the less money Mark and I made. Because if I'm in Budapest, Hungary with Matt for 6 months, how am I sitting on a set in the States making money? And if Mark is sitting in Los Angeles on the set of Bosch with Madison, like, who's at home paying the mortgage? And we'd made it work, but it was a trick, man. And I remember sitting on the couch one night going, God, I am profoundly exhausted. And I don't know how to do anything else, though. So if you want me to do something different, you're going to have to smack me upside the head with it. And then I got that first paycheck, which was like several $100s. And I was like, except for this.
Right.
Like, no, this. And I was like, oh. But when God tells you to do something, the best thing you can do is say, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been the best thing I've ever done. It actually makes me happier than my career in Hollywood. Helping people.
That's amazing. Yeah. That really is amazing. So, what products are involved? Because I know you said it's all about gut health and everything. So are there different products, or is it just specifically gut health?
Well, so funny you mentioned, because I literally just got off a call where I was telling people about this. I don't always just have Plexus products sitting right next to me, but I do, because I was just telling someone else. The first one is this. It's the pink drink. It's called Slim, but everybody calls it the pink drink. And what this does is it levels your blood sugar. And most people, even if you're not diabetic, have blood sugar that's not balanced. And so that's why you have that crash at 3 p.m. That's why when you're sitting there watching The Bachelor and your body's like, hey, get me some Oreos right now, that is an imbalance of blood sugar. So when I started drinking this, a couple things occurred. One is my sugar cravings disappeared. The second thing is my mood improved. The third thing is I didn't need a nap. And if you got in the way of my nap, I was homicidal. And so that's what that does. But then really the main issue that Americans face is poor gut health. And because we have so much sugar in our diet, we have a lot of yeast overgrowth in our stomach, in our colon. And the result of that is anything from skin issues to autoimmune disorders, to exhaustion and fatigue, to chronic pain, to depression is the first symptom, actually, to weight that won't go away no matter how much you CrossFit. And that is all as a result of yeast in your gut. And this particular probiotic gets rid of that. Most probiotics don't do that, but this has an enzyme in it that gets rid of the yeast. And it basically scrubs the wall of your colon. And when you scrub your toilet, you don't want to not flush. So there's a third product that's not sitting right here called BioCleanse. And that does that. So it basically is just like a shower for your insides, and it gets rid of the toxins in your body that are why we all feel like crap all the time and we're sick all the time. Right. So, I started taking those products and I, first of all, I started to sleep better, feel better. I was in a better mood. My husband's like, I don't care how much that cost. Well, I'll pay double. Just don't stop taking it. And I flew to Budapest 12 times with Matt. And never got sick. So those three. But then there's also more traditional weight loss things. Like I love their meal replacement. Tastes like Chick-fil-A made it. And, a lot of people just want to replace a meal, lose a little weight. I still say get your, a lot of people think I got to lose weight to get healthy. No, you got to get healthy so that your body lets go of the weight. That's really how it works. So that's why I dropped 2 sizes in a year. And I was already pretty small. Like I was a size 4 and I went to a 0. And at 46, I'm impressed with myself. So
100%.
Yeah. So there's a lot of great products. If anybody watching this is wants to hear more, is interested, just follow me on Instagram, Life in the Honey Wagon. And I have a ton of videos and stuff I can, sciencey stuff I can send you.
Right. Yeah. Cause for a while, probably since like my junior year in high school is where I started to really like say, I want to lose some weight. And I've been struggling with it for a long time because my family, like we're all a little thicker, chunkier. It's a gene. So it's very, I don't want to try to make an excuse for it, but it is definitely very hard for me to lose the weight. But then like recently, like when I was in New York, I always walked to school. So I lived on 3rd Street and my school was on 19th Street. So I would walk there every day I had class. I'd work out when I could. And I felt like I was starting to feel better and started to lose the weight. And people started telling me, because more people in my brain would notice more than yourself if you lost weight.
Sure.
And people have been telling me like, yeah, like you've definitely been losing weight. And I'm like, well, that's good. But now I'm here in quarantine eating all the time.
Right.
So it's so hard. So
COVID-19.
Seriously, like I probably lost nearly 10 pounds just walking and working out every now and then in New York. I really gained it all back because when I had to go to a doctor's appointment for something, and when I got weighed, what happened was I had gained it all back. I was like, yep, there we go. So yeah, and my aunt, she has to be gluten-free and everything. So her whole family's gluten-free. They don't really eat a lot of sugar. And so she does juice cleanses every now and then. So I tried it and I did a 3-day juice cleanse and I loved it. Like my body, I've never felt so good in my life. So I've definitely considered using Plexus too. So I don't be shocked if I message you for more.
Message me, girl. Well, and you know, some of what you're talking about, like some of what you think is weight too, Bryn, might be inflammation, because cellular inflammation is another huge issue. And it's literally when there's toxins in your cells. And this gets rid of that too. So I'm going to show you some pictures of me. Oh, wait, I can't, you have to enable me to share my screen. I really didn't plan to talk about this, but hey.
I love it. Okay, I think you should be able to do it now.
Okay, so this is a picture of what this did for me in 3 months. Okay, do you see that?
Oh my gosh.
So like, just take a wild guess at how much weight I lost.
50.
50? Okay, no. How about, most people say 10 to 15. I
gave you a lot extra then.
A lot of credit. I lost 2 pounds there. 2 pounds. And the reason is because it was all inflammation, and that doesn't weigh anything. It just makes you take up more room in the universe. Right?
Wow.
So I literally feel like I deflated. So that was just after 3 months. This is after a year. Now the top photo is a picture. It's a screenshot of me in a movie I did called Gifted, and with Chris Evans and Octavia Spencer. And somebody sent me that screenshot of me like, look, I'm watching your movie. And I was like, oh, off to kill myself. And and then this is me a year later. So like, oh, wow, Kelly has cheekbones. Amazing. And then this is 2 years. So as you can see, I just sort of like deflated, right?
You look amazing.
Now, a lot of people are like, and well, hang on. And then this is my 10-year challenge. Remember everybody was doing that in January?
Yeah.
So that's my 10-year challenge. And just ignore whoever told me that the hairstyle on the left was a good idea. But I just feel like in you know, at 49, I look younger and healthier and happier than I did at 39. But what was I gonna say? I lost it. cellular inflammation. It just doesn't weigh anything. And so, I know what I was going to say. Everybody's like, well, yeah, but you changed your diet and you started exercising. And I'm like, Chica, I'm an actress. Like, all we do is eat right and exercise. I was already doing all of the things. And when I say all of the things, I mean all the things. So Whole30, keto, you name it, beach body. And I always looked 3 months pregnant, no matter what. But that also is because you can hold up to 8 pounds of waste in your colon. I was holding all 8. So when I started doing this with BioCleanse and the pink drink, I literally, this is TMI, but I'll say it anyway. I just couldn't believe what came out of me.
No, yeah.
I was like, where was all of that?
Right. Exactly.
It's all right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but also inflammation. So I just feel like, and I have so many testimonies. I have a page on Facebook that I run that's got just testimony after testimony about all kinds of issues, autoimmune, thyroid, weight loss, and everybody that's been on these products for 6 months to a year just looks like a smaller human in general. So
that's crazy.
It's just the best. Like, if you're not addressing your gut health right now, you don't look as good as you could.
Yeah.
Like, you could be way hotter than you are even right now.
You're probably not wrong.
No, you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. Like I said, look at your skin.
Thank you. But yeah, well, and I'm happy that we are talking about this because it's, at 20, I'm honestly trying to think of people who would think about that kind of stuff. It's weird to even kind of process or think about that kind of information. So you're bringing a lot more information than I would rather learn now than later.
Well, a lot of people at your age, they don't think about it yet because they're not sick yet. Maybe they have some weight issues, but that's their primary concern. But really, the kids that are your age, that I think it would resonate with anybody struggling with anxiety, which is like all of you. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Equals anxiety. And I'll tell you a story. I don't think my daughter would mind me telling you. Mackenzie, she started Plexus at the same time as I did because she wanted to lose weight, but she had no weight to lose, right? She's like one of those people.
She's so tiny, yeah.
Right. She had no weight to lose. And I said, this is not really going to work for weight loss because you ain't got anything to lose. And she's like, well, I'll just try it. So she had moved to Los Angeles after Under the Dome was canceled. She moved to Los Angeles to try to get her next job. And it was a difficult transition for her. It was a very stressful time because you're out there trying to get a job, watching your bank account dwindle. Okay. So that on a good day is not fun. She started losing her mind a little bit. Like, she started, she was more of a basket case than I've ever seen her. And she would say that to you. And so, but her mood improved when she started taking Plexus. She seemed calmer, more rational. I was like, I feel like this is affecting your mood too. And she's like, I'm going to quit because I'm not losing any weight. So she quit, and literally within a month was back to basket caseness. And so I said to her, she was 19 at the time. I said, listen, sis, this is my last act as your mom.
Listen, sis.
We're going to do this for 6 months. And if at the end of that, you still think it's dumb and stupid, then it's your life. You do what you want. And 2 weeks later, she messaged me and she's like, yeah, you're right. So many people with anxiety, this helps. Anxiety and depression. My depression is gone. It's completely gone. I think people don't really underestimate, first of all, how bad our food supply is and how toxic it is. And this was made true. This was made clear to me when we lived in Hungary for 6 months when Matt was shooting The Alienist. We were over there, and all of a sudden I looked around and I was like, why aren't there any overweight people in this country? and there weren't. And I asked a local, I was like, okay, like, why aren't you fat? What's happening? And he was like, oh, well, we don't allow GMOs. We don't have preservatives. There's so much that you guys are allowed to do to your food that we are not allowed to do. And it makes all the difference in the world as far as like most people that are fat in America, it's because their body is toxic, not because they're eating too much. It's because they're eating the wrong things. And even when you eat well in this country, you still need to combat the poor soil and all kinds of things. So I feel like it's not even a luxury, it's a necessity. My whole family, everybody from myself to my husband, all the way down to Macsen, takes Plexus.
Wow.
Which, yeah. It's just a daily armor against our food. A lot of people say, you know, they ask, well, is it FDA approved? I'm like, you better hope it's not. Because the FDA is what's making you fat and sick and depressed and tired.
Seriously.
So, but to answer that question seriously, no supplements are FDA approved, not even baby formula. Did you know that? Learn something new every day.
Seriously, you're teaching me more things that I've never learned in my life right now.
I mean, can you tell I actually enjoy talking about this more than I do Hollywood?
I mean, I can tell you still love to talk about Hollywood, but yeah, like, but at the same time, like, the more into it you are, the easier it is for someone to listen and just be like, maybe I should try that. Or like, you're giving me information that, like, I want to know more. Right. So the more invested you are, the easier it is to, like, pull people in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty passionate about it. I just think
I love that.
Solves so many problems, and it's easy. It's not like some, you know, like there's certain program, like people do crazy things like, you know, cayenne pepper and syrup, or, you know, whatever, like, or they have to take like 95 things in a day, and I'm like, no,
right,
nobody got time for that. I drink a pink drink in the morning, and I take 2 of these, and then I take 2 more of these and 2 of these at bedtime. Boom, I'm healthy and I look amazing.
Right. So honestly, not gonna lie to you, I'm definitely bringing this up to both of my parents, and I think I'm gonna be like, let's just make this a family thing.
Do it.
Seriously.
Join Kelly on the pink highway of health and wellness.
I guarantee you we will, or at least I definitely am.
Awesome. Like, I love it. Let's do it.
So are there different levels to these, like the drinks or the pills or anything, or is it just like one thing and it is what it is?
You mean as far as like different regimens?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say there's the gut health track, which is the products I just told you about. But there's also some more traditional weight loss products that you can add in. Like I drink a protein shake every day. Not only does it save me calories, it saves me money, because a salad from Chick-fil-A is $8 and this is $2.
Right. Oh, okay.
So hey, you know, and then I put in this our my favorite new product that they've come up with. Their collagen. So good. I mean,
you gotta keep the face pretty.
Extended the time between Botox appointments by like 3 months. Okay. Seriously, I felt like it made a difference here. My smile line plumped out. My whole family saw a difference in my skin, and now they all take that too. I guess I'm the guinea pig. So yeah, so there's like the skin track, because they have some great skin serums. There's the weight loss track, and then there's the gut health track. But I would argue that the gut health track is the fastest way to the weight loss track.
Gotcha. Okay. Nice. So, okay. You probably have multiple, but what is your favorite product out of like everything, you would say?
I feel like the one that saved my life is the probiotic.
Okay.
Because it got rid of yeast overgrowth. And you know, I was depressed. I'm not gonna lie. I was depressed, and most actresses are, but I really,
you're not wrong.
I mean, I thought, well, of course I'm depressed. I'm a mom of 4 and that's exhausting, and I'm an actress and we're all angst-ridden and crazy. No, my gut was just unhealthy. So
my grandmother was she was a mother of 4 boys, so she feels you.
She needed some pink drink, but man, I mean, I could on another day I might have said the pink drink, because I mean, I really don't go a day without this either. It's that good, and it tastes good. It tastes good too. So it's so easy to stick to, because I'm not like, you know how like there's certain people in Hollywood that like have these like super like Gwyneth Paltrow. Like, who can live like Gwyneth Paltrow? Not me.
Right.
It's like gut health for dummies. Know what I mean?
Make a book on it.
Gut health for dummies.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So, you've already talked about which products you recommended. So, let's jump to how. Well, you basically went over how. Now, what pretty much, like, why did you get involved? Was it kind of just like because, you know, like you did mention, like when God tells you something, like go for it 100%. But like, was there like other reasons that you were just
why
like,
did I get involved with the business side, like making it a business?
Mm-hmm.
Because most Americans are just as financially ill as they are physically ill. Like, we are all in debt. A great example of this is what just happened with everybody getting furloughed, everybody getting quarantined. I mean, businesses went out of business.
Right.
People lost their paycheck, that stimulus check, thank you so much, but that's not enough.
Right.
And so I knew that I needed an additional stream of income, that if one went away, I would have something else. I am one of the only people that I know, and my team, my Plexus team, that did not panic the last 2 months. In fact, we had the biggest 2 months we've ever had. We had 150 people join us the last 2 months, because everybody wants immunity now. All of a sudden they're like, wait a sec, maybe natural health is the way to go, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it solved I would say my biggest why is it fixed my depression and anxiety. And for me not to share publicly that I found something that worked would be selfish. So that's why I do that. However, earning a 6-figure income this month, I just earned my 2nd free trip to Hawaii.
I saw that. Killing it.
I have a free Lexus that I can drive because of Plexus.
Wow.
I mean, that's just fun.
Listen, if I were you, I'd say yes, please, and thank you.
You know, here's an unexpected gift to this. My team, I have a team of like 400 people, right, that I help. Anytime you're an entrepreneur, it requires personal growth as a human being, or else you don't succeed. If you don't grow, you fail. And so the personal growth that has happened to me, and the things that I've learned as far as mindset, is why I worked so much as an actress in 2019. Because I put things in place in my mind, which is the most powerful tool that you have. Henry Ford says, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I believed I could, because I said, I need to believe I can. If I want to be an emerald with Plexus, I need to believe that I can.
Right.
And so I started saying every day, why are you an emerald with Plexus? Why are you an emerald with Plexus? And my mind started to go to work to answer that question. And 6 months later, I was indeed an emerald with Plexus. And now that I am, guess what? I'm saying, okay, but now why are you a diamond with Plexus? Which is, you know, $25,000 a month in income. Yeah. So, I mean, why did I get in? Helping people feel better, look better, and be better. Yeah. And I could do this from anywhere. I doubled my business when I lived in Hungary for 6 months. Because I was halfway around the world, but when you can work from your phone and your computer, it doesn't matter where you are.
True. Exactly.
If you're looking for a side stream of income in addition to health solutions, Look no further. I found it for you. I have.
So next, I wanted to jump into Team Lintz talent. So you did previously say that your husband mainly owns it and such, and like runs it, I should say.
Yeah.
So why and or how did he, with as well as your help, because I know you do help out, came, or am I wrong?
Well, it's a conflict of interest for me to be a manager or an agent as an actress. Like you actually, it's illegal. I can't do that. That is why that whole company is in his name. However, the way that it came about is, whenever you are successful in an endeavor, or if you want to be successful in an endeavor, the best thing to do is to find people that have gone before you and done what you want to do, and ask them, how did you do that? And so we were getting so many people doing that. And so I actually had a little thriving consulting business on the side, where I had moms calling me going, help, I don't know how to make this happen for my kid. Or beyond that, we're in a little situation. What would you advise? So we were kind of doing that, for free. We were connecting people to agents and all of that, just based on our own connections. And then finally my husband was like, okay, I either need to make this a business, or we just can't do this anymore, because it was taking up so much of our time. So that's why he opened that company. And I would have told you maybe even 2 years ago that a manager was not necessary in the Southeastern region, because it's more of a backdoor into the industry. But in the last 2 years, it has become very much a front door. And I don't think there's any agents here in town that even accept email submissions anymore. Like, you have to have a referral, you have to have an introduction, and that's what a manager does. So that's how that came about. And he mainly manages children that are starting out in the Atlanta market, that not only want to be connected here, but want to be represented in the Los Angeles market as well.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very helpful. So do you guys sign on people very often, or is it kind of like sporadic?
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty picky. He's pretty picky because a manager really is only supposed to represent 50 or below, otherwise he cannot do a good job for people. So when you have that small of a roster, you want to make sure that you really believe in who you're representing. And not only that, but that you have a spot for them that's not already occupied. So if you already have a super cute 12-year-old Caucasian girl, you don't want to represent 2 of them, because you really want to do a good job for your 12-year-old Caucasian girl. So it really just depends on what spots he has to fill on the roster. And if there's a fit, like, not every manager is the right fit for people. And really, what you want to do when you're seeking representation is, I feel like I have a weird sun thing going on, is you want to find somebody that's super excited about you and about your ability, about your look. Right now, ethnicity is huge. Mixed ethnicity is really huge. So us white people are suffering. So yeah,
there's more diversity being mixed in, of course. So
100%. Yeah. So if you're a child of mixed ethnicity, you have a great, your demographic is huge right now. So if people want to submit to Team Lintz Talent, they can do so at teamlintztalent.com. I think there's a way to send your headshot and resume and a demo reel if you have one, and to see if it's a fit. But I also wanted to, there's so many people that we can't help because I just don't have enough hours in the day and enough bodies to do so. And so what I did, so that we could sort of accumulate our expertise that we've amassed over the last my last 30 years of being in the industry as an actress, and our last 15 years of stage parenting, where we literally have seen it all. I created a course called the Parents Ultimate Crash Course to Getting Your Kid into the Biz. So if you have a kid that's sitting in front of, Disney Channel and is like, me, now, you, make it happen. And, you're like, I have no idea. This course takes you step by step from how to go from sitting in your living room discussing this to sitting on a television set, making it happen. And it's about 10 hours of content. I have interviews in there with casting directors, agents, managers, other child actors, including my own, other stage parents about, what can you expect if you get yourself into it? Because I don't think a lot of parents understand what they're in for. And they don't really know what they're in for if their child is successful. Like, you could end up in Hungary for 6 months.
Right. Yeah.
So you kind of got to know what you're asking for. Mm-hmm. And so I really do try to include a lot of that information and just weird things that you wouldn't even think of. Like, for us, one of the things, and I can't remember if I said this in the other piece or not, so edit it out if I did. But, if you're in Hungary with one child and your husband is sitting in Los Angeles on a set with another child, who's at home paying the mortgage? Right. Like that's a real issue. And, we had it a little bit more difficult because we have 4 working child actors, or we had first. So there was about 8 years there where it was a real juggling act, both physically and financially. Most normal people might have one. And so it's a little bit easier to deal with. But a lot of people don't realize, you might have to leave your job to help your child. Are you willing to do that? And if you're not, then don't start down this road.
Exactly. I agree 100%. Because it just adds like so much. There's just so much that goes into it. I can't really speak for it because I haven't been through it, obviously, but I have an idea. And of course, like you explaining it gives it more. I don't know where I was going with this now. But I think you're kind of getting what I'm saying, yeah.
There's just a lot of things that you don't think about.
Right.
And that's why I interviewed, I interviewed Chandler Riggs's mom is one of the moms that was interviewed. Another friend of mine, Angie Jones, who has 3 very successful child actors, is one of the moms. And we just say, if you could tell people one thing, what would it be? And lots of great content came from just asking that question.
Right. That's great. I love that. Why did I just do that? Okay. Continue. We don't know. We may never know. So let me see here. Because I know you did mention before that you don't coach anymore. So when you did, or if you know anybody that kind of does it still now, is it normally for auditions or is it more of like a teaching kind of lesson?
I think if you're a beginner, you should get into a group class. I don't think that you need to spend the money on like a private coach. If you're auditioning professionally, like you have an agent and you're represented, like I used to coach all of my child actors because I'm an actor myself. Right. And if I couldn't teach them what to do, then I was in the wrong business myself, right? But now I don't even coach my own children anymore. I feel like I got them to the point that I could get them to, and they're adults now. And really, you need more than one teacher in your life. And so I said, look, my daughter Madison lives in Los Angeles, and she found a really great coach out there that oddly Chandler Riggs also uses. And so all of my kids and myself were all coached by him, and some in person if they live there, and the rest of us via Skype. And it's mainly audition coaching for a specific audition that comes in. But if you're still just learning like how to act, there's much less expensive ways of making that happen. And a good solid class is where you want to be.
Gotcha. Okay. So I know you mentioned videos and stuff that you've done. So is there stuff about like self-tapes and auditions, tips and tricks, or is that involved in there?
Not in how to parents crash course. We don't get that specific. However, on my partner that created the course with me, Erin Burns, she has a great website called bestactingworkshopever.com.
Okay.
And on there, she has lots of great online courses. Like one of them is what's a good self-tape? How do you do it? What do you need? What shouldn't it look like? So, and then she also has some great online acting classes as well. So I recommend that website a lot to people that want to learn how to self-tape, which is the way it's going. All of my kids landed their biggest roles, series regular roles, via self-tape from our basement.
Nice.
Including The Walking Dead. All three of them landed their jobs on The Walking Dead without an in-person audition.
That's
who'd have thought, right?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it's true. Now, that's not totally usual.
Yeah. Well, that's the way the business is going now too. So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's cool that they got to do it like years ago even, and so that way it kind of prepared them for now anyways. So
yeah, so it's good, you need to know how to do it and do it right, so that
right, exactly. That's
really, before you even get to that, that's like down the road. Like maybe learn how to act first.
Exactly. No, yeah, 100%. That's why like when I was in high school, like I did theater and stuff, but that's why I went to school for acting, so I could learn first instead of just going out there and not knowing what I was doing at all. I would rather be prepared and have information than to just jump out there and do it, because yes, some people have gotten lucky doing that, but it's like way harder to just go out there without any training.
Sure.
And it could still equally be as hard.
You wouldn't go to a surgeon that did not go to medical school. Why would you hire an actor who does not, and a lot of people think, well, you just say some lines. Okay.
So much more to it. There's so much.
Okay. Oh. I had somebody say to me once, because they found out I voiced audiobooks, and she was like, I want to do that. Can you get me into that? And I'm like, have you ever taken an acting class? And she's like, no, but I mean, all you do is sit there and like read it, right? And I'm like, so now I'm gonna go. And it's like, they don't see that as an insult at all. Like, you're basically telling me that what I do is so simple and easy that like anybody can do it. So anyway, little pet of mine.
No, I will hop on that train because that is so wrong. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's definitely one thing that irks me. It's not as simple as people try to make it out to be at all. There's so much work that goes into doing this career. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And there was still stuff that I ended up learning that I was like, oh my gosh, like I knew there was a lot of work, but like, this is it.
And to be honest, when I graduated drama school, I learned more in my first season of repertory regional theater at the Orlando Shakespeare Theater than I did in my entire 4 years of college. No lie.
I believe you. Shakespeare can teach. If you can honestly like understand Shakespeare and do Shakespeare, you're pretty good. There's no doubt about it. Like I had to, like my teachers at my school, a lot of them talked about just reading Shakespeare and like doing Shakespeare, like it will help you, like reading and all that stuff. Like there's so many different things you can do that helps you that a lot of people don't even think about.
Yeah.
So yep. I understand what you're saying 100%. My scene study teacher loved talking about how Shakespeare's keen, and I was like, you're not wrong, because I used to not really be into it, but then once I got into college, like I loved it.
Yeah, it's really my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite.
It's great. Oh, Shakespeare. But my final thing, I know, again, like you said, you have the videos, of course, to go and watch those, the 10 hours of everything. And but what is one thing that you would tell anybody trying to get in this career, advice-wise?
Well, first, in regards to that content, if anyone watching wants to get a hold of that, go to my Instagram at Life in the Honey Wagon, and in the bio there is a link to that course called Parents Crash Course, and that's how you can access that. And in that, I ask the child actors, I ask the parents of the child actors, I ask the casting directors, I ask the agents, what's one thing? Probably my one thing would be, don't seek fame and assume that it will bring happiness. The more we did this, we know very, very famous people. We've worked with very famous people, not just on The Walking Dead, but, we're talking people, like I said, Jennifer Garner and Tom Hanks and Chris Evans and Peter Dinklage and Adam Sandler, Luke Evans, Dakota Fanning. The more famous people are, I feel like the less happy they are. We saw that across the board, and I saw it as my children began to amass a certain amount of notoriety, that with it came stresses and difficulties that are hard to imagine if you're not experiencing them. Mm-hmm. And I see a lot of parents of child actors really pushing hard for fame for their children at a young age, not really understanding the damage that they could potentially be doing to their child. So fame doesn't equal happiness. And if you want to be an actor, do it for the love of the craft, not for the notoriety it brings, because it might not be everything you thought. And we've seen it in really famous people, but we've also experienced it ourselves.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Awesome. Lovely. We did it.
We're done? All right. We're done.
Yes. Thank you again.
My pleasure.